Good evening, everyone. I am going to go ahead and call this News Charter School Board of Directors meeting to order for May 25th, 2021 at 6:01 p.m. I am going to call the roll to establish a quorum. Okay, Nicole.
Here.
Michelle.
Here.
Benji. I see you, Benji, but I think you might be muted. Well, I can see you, and I'm going to. I think that you said I, but we'll see. I'm having trouble hearing you. I don't know if anybody else is, but Paul.
Here.
Great. Having established a quorum, I hereby officially call the board meeting to order. We are going to move on, and I will read the ethics statement. Conflict of interest reminder per North Carolina General Statute 138A-15E. Board members are reminded that it is our duty to avoid conflicts of interest and the appearance of conflicts of interest as we handle the work of this board. Does any member of the board know of any conflict of interest or any appearance of conflict with respect to any matters coming before us at this meeting? If so, please state them for the record. If during the course of the meeting you become aware of an actual or apparent conflict of interest, please bring the matter to the attention of the chair. It will then be your duty to abstain from participating in discussion on the matter and from voting on the matter. Okay, we will move on to the reading and approval of the minutes. We can read these aloud or silently, or if everyone has read them, I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
Thank you, Nicole. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Michelle. Are there any corrections or any discussion? Okay, hearing none, I will call the roll to vote to approve. Nicole.
Aye.
Michelle.
Aye.
Benji.
I think Benji is muted.
Yeah, he's unmuting, but we don't hear him.
No, I know, it's very strange. I wonder.
I'll text him real quick.
Okay, that'd be great. Maybe see if he has access to the chat function if we aren't going to be able to hear him. Paul?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, minutes are approved. Okay, he said his microphone isn't working. Benji, if you could just use the chat function when I call the roll, I think that should suffice. Thank you. Okay, Brad, do we have anyone for public comment?
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you so much. Our guest discourse is going to be at the end of the meeting. Dr. Carpenter cannot join us until about 7 o'clock. So we'll see where we are when we get to the end. Hopefully he'll be able to do a short micro training for us. Dr. Edwards, do we have any correspondence from our authorizer?
We do not.
All right, wonderful. We are moving right along. Okay, Dr. Edwards, your superintendent report.
Well, good evening. First, I would like to, on behalf of the staff, just thank the board for the lunch that you provided for us last week. It was kind and thoughtful and perfectly timed with the end of the school year when we were dragging ourselves across the finish line. And to see you all there treating us to lunch was a nice thing. So I just want to tell you all thank you for that. It was much appreciated.
Thank you. Thank you so much for saying that. And, it was great to be able to actually see so many of the staff and get to thank them in person for everything that they've done this year. And we were happy, more than happy to do it. So thank you.
The next thing I would like to just highlight is we did have our graduation on Friday. And two really cool takeaways from that is that we had 100% graduation rate. All of our seniors graduated. And the other is that across the board with our senior class, they earned a little over $800,000 in scholarships. So something to be proud of. It was a remarkable year, and it's a remarkable group of young people. So we were very pleased to send them off with as normal graduation as we could make happen.
Well, that's amazing. And please pass along to everyone involved in the planning of graduation that, our thanks. You did a fabulous job. And, I think it was one of the most sort of normal experiences of the school year. I mean, I know we all had masks on, but even with the masks, it was great, like you said, to be able to celebrate in person, and everyone who had a hand in it did a fabulous job, from the planning to the practicing to the actual event. So please pass our thanks along to everyone.
I will. Thank you. This evening, the bulk of my report is asking for approval of contracts for the new school year. I will start with Acadia. There are no changes to Acadia. This is our financial support. They have sent over a contract. We signed a 1-year contract with them last year, and I would like to sign a 2-year contract with them so that we don't have to do this again next year. There are no changes to what they will charge us. Last year was the same rate as it will be this year, which is they base it on ADM up to 860 students. And so that's what they're going to do again for us. And so I went ahead and put this in front of finance in April, and that went through just fine. And now I'm bringing it to you to just renew Acadia for 2 years at the same rate.
So okay, perfect. Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Great, thank you. Any discussion or questions for Dr. Edwards on the motion to approve a 2-year renewal for Acadia? Okay, hearing none, I will go ahead and call the roll for the vote. Nicole?
Aye.
Michelle?
Aye.
Benji?
Aye.
Oh, we heard you. Great. Paul?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. The next are the EC contracts, and these are for speech, occupational therapy, the OCS program, our psych evals. Again, no changes, exactly what we're doing. This year we'll be doing next year. Same providers, just a formality for us that we have to put this in front of you so that we can get it in place for the new school year. So I would just say in general, I need approval for the 4 EC contracts of speech, OT, occupational, and then psych, those 4.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the 4 EC contracts as Dr. Edwards presented.
Thank you, Benji.
Second.
Just as a note, those were reviewed in the finance meeting and discussed there as well.
Great, thank you. Thank you. And Paul, did I hear you second that? Okay, wonderful.
Quick question, Dr. Edwards, you said speech, OT, occupational. Is it OT occupational, or is that something else?
It's an occupational, it's OCS is what it's called. So we have OT and OCS.
Any other questions or discussion on this motion? Okay, then, hearing none, I will go ahead and call the roll. Nicole,
Aye.
Michelle,
Aye.
Benji,
Aye.
Paul.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. My next ask is for the cap dev proposal to be approved. I put this before finance in April as well. It is a total expenditure of $20,000. It has been included in our budget that was passed in February. And cap dev is going to be brought on board beginning July 1st. They'll be working with us from 8 to 10 weeks to do a deep dive development assessment for us. And then they're going to create what they call a case for support, which is our messaging to our community. And they will leave us with a resource development plan that we can put into place by the end of September. And so, again, put this in front of finance in April. It's been budgeted. I am very, very excited about the potential that this is going to bring. And so I'm asking for approval for this as well.
I'd like to make a motion to approve, and I'm glad
Second.
to see this being done.
Thanks,
Second,
Paul.
Benji.
Thank you, Benji. Discussion or questions for Dr. Edwards on the cap dev proposal? Hearing none, I will call the roll for a vote. Nicole,
Aye.
Michelle,
Aye.
Benji,
Aye.
Paul.
Aye.
Motion carries. Yay. I'm excited about this one. I'm really, really excited.
Yes, so this is going to be amazing for us
Yeah.
and much needed, and very excited about that. Thank you all very much.
Mhm.
I have two more. The next one is the summer projects list. I shared this with finance in May, and I'm asking for $150,000 from our reserves, which currently has over $2 million. I'm asking for this for summer projects. We know that we need to spruce up our campus. A lot of things have been kind of bandaged together over the years, and we need to just take a minute in year 15 and get some things taken care of. So that's going to include new modular skirting, which is definitely something that's needed. We're going to rekey our school. I brought that up in August, I think, when I first came on board. That was a concern of mine. An intercom system for our campus. We are going to magnetize the gym doors. We are going to replace the gym doors because there is one set that is a safety issue. And in closing it, if you don't intentionally close it, it won't close. Josh has done a lot of work over the years to make that what it is, but it is just time to replace those. Fresh paint, new signs, lots of things to just spruce up our school, since we know that we're not going to be moving forward in any way at this time with a new building until we get Cap Dev on board. It just seemed like this was a good time to do that, year 15, spruce our campus. So finance approved this in May, and so I'm asking the board to approve it as well.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the project list for summer projects as presented.
Thank you,
Second.
Benji. Thank you, Paul. Any discussion or questions for Dr. Edwards?
Dr. Edwards, this is Michelle. Quick question. I know you had said 150,000. Do you already have quotes and that sort of thing for each of the projects? So you have a kind of a definitive amount?
We do, yeah.
Okay.
Can you say one more time, Dr. Edwards, what is in reserves total? I know you said that.
It's a little over 2 million.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions, discussion?
Dr. Edwards, one other question. When do you anticipate they'll have everything completed? Will it be done before school starts?
That's the goal. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
I believe that Mr. Bunner is eagerly awaiting the results so he can get started. He is very excited about all the things we're going to be able to do this summer.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Well, if there are no other questions, no other discussion, I will go ahead and call.
Jane, I do have, I'm sorry, one more
That's
question.
okay.
Not
That's
to belabor the point. On the new signage, will that be to include the new logo?
It will.
Okay.
Great. Anybody
I'm
else?
done
Questions?
now. I'm done now.
Okay.
I do have one question just because I'm excited about all of this. Does it also, with the signage, does it include any type of smart signage, or are we just replacing existing signage?
We are replacing existing signage.
Okay.
Just updating it. All right. Going once, going twice. I'm going to call the roll for the vote. Nicole.
Aye.
Michelle.
Aye.
Benji.
Aye.
Paul.
Aye.
Motion carries. Tell Josh he doesn't have to go out there tonight. It'll be there tomorrow.
I will absolutely do that. Thank you all very much.
Absolutely.
The last is the calendar. We approved the calendar back in, I believe that it was in February. It might have been in January. It was pretty while ago. And with that time that the state had said we needed to include 5 digital days, they've since taken that away. And I needed to adjust our school calendar. And so I adjusted the school calendar by essentially making those digital days teacher work days. Considering the implementation of a lot of things we're going to be putting into place next year, those 5 additional days were already built in. With that change, we still have 4 additional days for inclement weather. So I simply made the switch from digital days to teacher work days. I also shifted those days, and I can show this to you. Some of those digital days were in the middle of the week. And so I shifted those so that they were either at the end or at the beginning. Oof. So you can see there was one on August 25th. It's now the 27th. I do not remember where the one in September was. But what's nice about this is that we've given our staff a little bit more time together. When we can have 1 or 2, even 3 work days together, the amount of work that we can get accomplished is tremendous. And considering the curriculum that we're going to be putting into place, the strategic plan, a lot of training around our portraits, and then in alignment with those goals that were established by the board for us, and then the goals that were established through the strategic plan, just made more sense to turn those into teacher work days to give us some more time together. So with that being said, that is my last request for the evening.
I will entertain a motion to approve the calendar as updated.
So moved.
Thank you, Nicole. Do I have a second?
Second, Benji.
Thank you, Benji. Discussion or questions for Dr. Edwards?
Dr. Edwards, how many inclement days does that leave us with? Did you say 5?
4.
4.
How many do we typically have? Do you know?
Oh, you broke up. I think I heard you say, how many do we typically have?
Yes, that's what I asked. Yeah, sorry.
It depends, anywhere from 4 to 5 to 6.
Okay.
So
this is not an unusually low number or anything. That was my question.
No, no. And we're going to continue with Canvas as our LMS. We're going to continue with what we put into place this year. And so, we'll see what the state says, but on inclement weather days, they may allow us to do an asynchronous day.
Great, thank you. Other questions, discussion? Okay, I am going to call the roll for the vote. Nicole,
Aye.
Michelle,
Aye.
Benji,
Aye.
Paul.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. That is
Wonderful.
all I'm asking for. As if that's all. I asked for a lot, and I appreciate you all helping me make that happen. And that's all I have.
Absolutely. That was short and sweet. That's wonderful. Thank you, Dr. Edwards. Okay. Moving on to our financial report. Benji.
Yes, ma'am. Sorry for the audio trouble earlier.
No worries. I hear you loud and clear right now, so you're all good.
Very good. The Finance Committee met for our regular monthly meeting on Wednesday, May the 12th. And in that meeting, we reviewed the monthly results for April, as well as the year-to-date budget report. And from that report, we saw for the month of April, we had total revenue of $583,071.36. And our expenditures for the month of April were $604,498.83, giving us a monthly deficit of $21,427.47. And that was, as we have mentioned before, just kind of a spend timing. There's a lot of revenue that is outstanding for the last couple of months of the fiscal year. But for the full fiscal year to date, we're showing a surplus of $609,000. Sorry, $609,535.72. That's for the full fiscal year. So good results so far this year, and we plan to continue that. And also in the May finance meeting, we reviewed the planned summer projects, as Dr. Edwards has spoke about, the proposed EC contracts, reviewing those and discussing those for the 2021-2022 school year. And like I mentioned a while ago, we fully supported those plans and proposals that were provided to us. And same way with CapDev and Acadia, we supported those and reviewed those in the previous month's meeting. So that was basically it from our monthly finance meeting.
Great. Thank you so much, Benji. Appreciate that update. And it sounds like we are definitely on track and finishing the year strong, which is great. It's very exciting. So we will we'll look forward to finishing out the year and moving forward. Thank you, Benji. I appreciate it. Yes, sir. Sure. Moving on to our standing committee reports. Our executive committee did not meet. Finance, we just heard their report. Academic affairs did not meet. Paul, resource development
Did not meet.
Thank you. Michelle, board development. I know you guys met and we've got a lot going on.
Yes,
So
we have
go for it.
a lot to go over.
Absolutely.
The first thing is a quick bylaws update. The board development committee met. We reviewed the comments, questions, notes that were made in the comment section for the proposed bylaws. Made a few little minor tweaks to that. We had some other questions that came up that were raised about the draft of the bylaws, as well as implementation, the wording, and how we were going to implement term limits and how we were going to make that work with our new requirement that only a third could roll off at any one given time. So what we decided to do, we thought would be a good idea, is to take what we have existing now, take that to our attorney, have him review that. One thing that I want to make sure of is that we are not doing anything that's inconsistent with our charter agreement. So to have that reviewed. And then my bet is that he or she will have seen this type of situation with the bylaws before and may be able to help us come up with the appropriate wording to best incorporate that into the bylaws. So what I plan to do is send that over to Dr. Edwards and have her send it over to Gil, who's the attorney that we have on, not on contract, but I guess on retainer, so to speak. He's been helping us with some other things as well. So I'll send that over to him. So Once we get that back, whatever comments, feedback we get, we'll review that. And then, of course, once it's final, we'll send that back to the board. Any last comments, questions, concerns, and then we'll have a vote. The board will have to vote on the new bylaws before we send them over for approval by the Office of Charter Schools. So that is an update on the bylaws. The next thing that we need to do is the approval of or election of new members. At the April board meeting, we nominated, I presented the nominations, nominating committee for Dr. Jennifer Serby Roberts and Jason Gipe. And so we will need to vote on those tonight as well.
Okay. So are you making a motion, or do you want me to entertain a motion?
I will make a motion that we approve the nominations as presented at the April board meeting from the nominating committee to elect Dr. Jennifer Serby Roberts and Jason Gipe.
Wonderful. Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Paul. All right. Any discussion or questions? Hearing none, I will go ahead and call the roll. Nicole.
Aye.
Michelle.
Aye.
Benji.
Aye.
Paul.
Aye.
And as chair, I would like to show my support and also vote aye. So the ayes have it, motion carries, and we will be welcoming 2 new board members very soon. They will begin their terms July 1st, and their first meeting that they will attend will be the July board meeting, and we'll be looking forward to having them. And actually the micro training that Dr. Carpenter is going to do tonight is going to be about how to onboard new board members. So a very timely micro training, but we're very excited to welcome both of them. And thank you to the nominating committee for all the work that they did on this, and to the interview committee for interviewing the candidates. Excited to add 2 very, very talented new board members to the board. So thank you for that, Michelle.
I'm meeting with Dr. Carpenter next Tuesday to discuss with him options for new board member training and go over that with him. So I'll have more, hopefully next week we'll have more information on that, so that can be presented at the next board meeting. And we'll hopefully next week go ahead and get the new board member training scheduled, and I'll be notifying the applicants as well. The next thing that we need to do is need to elect our existing board members that are going to continue to serve. And I'll go over, I sent this out in an email, but I will go over those individuals whose terms are set to expire. And these individuals, their terms are set to expire June 30th of 2021. And these individuals I'm getting ready to name are eligible for a 2-year term. Nicole Booker, Jane Jackson, Robbie Taylor, and Benji Woodard. Then there are 4 others whose term ends June 30th of 2021. One of those, Dawn Dixon, does not intend to serve again for the 2021-22 school year. The last 3 are Paul Worley, Rodney Dunn, and myself are eligible for a 1-year term. Our terms currently expire June 30th, and we are eligible for a 1-year term. So at this time, I'll make a motion. I'll do this based on the term limits, or the term period, excuse me. So I'll make a motion to elect Nicole Booker, Jane Jackson, Robbie Taylor, and Benji Woodard for an additional 2-year term to begin July 1st, 2021, and in June 30th of 2023.
Second.
Thank you, Paul. Any discussion or questions on this motion? Hearing none, call the roll. Nicole,
Aye.
Michelle,
Aye.
Benji,
Aye.
Paul.
Aye.
And again, I am going to vote aye to indicate my support for this. So the ayes have it. Michelle, did you have another motion? Oh, you're muted.
Sorry, someone else may want to make this
That's
motion.
Oh,
But the 3 eligible for a 1-year term to begin July 1st of 2021 through June 30th of 2022 are Michelle Denning, Rodney Dunn, and Paul Worley.
thank you. I will entertain a motion to elect those 3 board members to a 1-year term.
So moved.
Thank you, Nicole.
Second.
Thank you, Benji. Any discussion or comments? Okay, I will call the roll. Nicole,
Aye.
Michelle,
Aye.
Benji,
Aye.
Paul.
Aye.
And for the 3rd time, I will vote aye as well to indicate my support for this motion and these board members. So the ayes have it. Thank you so much, Michelle, for doing that. I know that by next year at this time, we may very well have new board bylaws, and we will have new board members and potentially have new bylaws with term limits and a new process for all of this. But I'm grateful that you and the board development committee are keeping us on track with this right now, and we'll look forward to seeing how the new bylaws and potentially a new process play out next year. So thank you for that.
And then the last thing, I think it's the last thing that I have, is officer nominations for the board. Those are nominations are to be made the meeting tonight for chair, vice chair, secretary, and treasurer. Those nominations will need to be made tonight to be voted on at the June board meeting.
Wonderful. Thank you. I will open the floor for nominations.
I'll nominate Jane Jackson to serve as our chair again.
Thank
I'll
you,
nominate Michelle Denning to serve as vice chair again.
Thank you, Paul.
I'll nominate Benji Woodard to serve as treasurer.
I'll nominate Nicole Booker to serve as our secretary.
Thank you, Michelle. Any other nominations? Or this year, do we all run unopposed? All right. Well, that's great. That was quick and easy. Those are our nominations for officers. And next month at the June meeting, we will officially vote on those nominations. So thank you all for your nominations. And for those of you who have been serving, thank you for serving and for being willing to continue to serve. Anything else, Michelle, from the Board Development Committee?
I know it's disappointing, but I think that's all that I have.
I appreciate it. It's nice. You guys have done so much work, and the rest of the committees are all saying, nope, nope. But I appreciate it. Thank you. That's great. The Standing Strategic Planning Committee did not meet, but I understand that facilities did meet. And Dr. Edwards, do you have something to present from them? Did I understand that correctly?
We are meeting sometime this week.
Oh, okay. I misunderstood.
If
Oh, I remember. I'm sorry. It was the summer projects thing that was presented. I'm
gotcha.
sorry. That I knew since Robbie couldn't be here, he said that something was going to be presented. So I'm sorry. I misunderstood. So you guys will be meeting then again
Mhm.
to spend all the money that we just approved.
Yeah, we were going to wait till after tonight to do that. So yeah,
Got it.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Sorry about that.
it's all good.
Okay. Wonderful. Okay, moving on to ad hoc committees. Nicole, Systematic Oversight Calendar Committee, anything that you need to share with us?
Nothing to report.
Okay, wonderful. Dawn is not here, but Paul, anything from the Ad hoc Policy Committee?
No.
Okay. Benji, anything from the ad hoc it's not written on here. What the committee that was doing the ad hoc strategic planning committee? Sorry.
No, ma'am. To the best of my
Okay.
understanding, we have fulfilled what we were put in place to do. So I believe we're finished.
All right, that's what I thought, just making sure. Thank you so much. Okay, moving on to unfinished business. Paul, the motions log ad hoc committee.
So the ad hoc committee for the motions log met, and one of the members was admonished for not spending more time on the log. We're through 17. We're trying to work through some quality control issues to get that looking a little bit better. So we took some action basically against that, noting that there could be sanctions if it's not completed. So that's the meeting.
I love it. I love it.
But we're at 17 by now. So, and
Thank
then
you.
going back through and making sure everything is connecting and getting all the keywords. So just kind of working through that to get a chance.
I appreciate it. We all appreciate the full committee, even the member that was admonished. We appreciate the work of the committee. Thank you very much.
I'll be sure to let him know.
Good.
The internet's gonna get cut off, if perhaps, I don't know.
Yeah.
See?
Well, whatever sanctions you need, we got to get the motions log.
Exactly.
Finished, so.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but I'm not,
Appreciate
the
it.
one I'm updating is the one I'm keeping, by the way. The one that's on as a sample, that's
Okay.
not live, that's not being updated. So
Got
so
it.
that's not what you're seeing, if somebody takes a look at it. So
Great.
still looking for
appreciate it.
comments or any kind of input on it as well.
Okay. Wonderful. Thank you again. Appreciate
Sure.
that. The evaluation ad hoc committee did meet. We are working through the process for the superintendent evaluation. We will be presenting the process and our findings next month in closed session to the board. As always, that's in the June meeting that will be presented. And so we are right on track. We are trying to create a process that we will be able to use moving forward that will be sort of just like so many of the other things that we're working on. We really want to have a system in place so that it's expected and we know exactly what we'll be doing, and so that our superintendent knows exactly how she will be evaluated. I think that is only fair to ask of any leaders. So we'll make sure of that, and we'll be reporting out, like I said, with more details next month. Any new business? Okay, we are to the point of micro training, and my understanding from Dr. Carpenter is that he is unable to join us until 7, and that is 20 minutes from now. My instinct is that we potentially ask him if he would be willing to present his micro training on onboarding at our next meeting, since our new board members will not have joined by then. And if there's anything really important that we need to do between now and then, I think we could probably ask him to send us an email. Does anyone have an issue with doing that, or have another suggestion for how we could spend the next 19 minutes if you have an issue with that?
Hey, Jane, this is Michelle. One thing I think, I'm interested in hearing about is, as for the onboarding, is, what information that we need to provide is, last time that we brought new board members on, Amanda Heifel helped me put together a notebook for each of the board members that came on. I'm not sure how helpful or not helpful it was. But so in preparing, I'm fine to wait until the June board meeting. My concern is that we would not have time enough if there's something additional that we need to prepare, that we won't have time to do that before they come on, before the July meeting.
Right.
Though
Right.
it's possible because they wouldn't participate until the end of July.
Right. I am texting Dr. Carpenter really quickly. My thought, Michelle, on that is that potentially, if you're meeting with him anyway, I wonder if maybe sharing the packet that Amanda Heifel put together with him and asking his opinion on it. And I think he can give some direction behind the scenes. I think what he's talking about, I think the micro training was going to be a little bit more focused on how the board as a whole could come together to help support new members. But let me just check and see if he is actually able to maybe jump on a few minutes early.
Are we doing closed session at all tonight?
We are not. We do not have anything in closed session. Yeah, because otherwise that would be all right. But I think that I hear what you're saying. I agree with you that I think that the end of June is a little bit late if there's a lot that we need to do. I think I know that he has said that he is willing to use some of the time that we have already purchased from him to onboard the new members, which I think is very generous of him, because typically doing an onboarding like that would not be charged at the same rate that we are paying him for his hourly rate. So I think that between the work that he can do, and if we can share that binder of materials with him and get his input on that, and then potentially have training. And I know we'll want to be working offline kind of with the our new board members the month of July, but as you said, they won't be attending their first meeting for a month. He just texted back that he thinks he can join in the next 5 minutes. But if we're ready to bounce, he'd be happy to do the training next month. Would everyone like to wait another 2 or 3 or 4 minutes and do the training now? Would that be sort of the majority opinion? Or
Yeah, I think just wait. We'll get it,
Yeah.
get it done.
Okay. Paul, Benji, is that fine?
I'm fine either way.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I'll just tell him to go ahead and join as he can then.
From my perspective, the 3-ring binder had very good information. If that same information is available electronically, that would be okay. But it is good information just to get refreshed and up to date where's current status of the board.
Okay.
Sorry,
Jake.
Nicole, go ahead.
I received a similar binder and when I was onboarded, and I appreciated it as well.
And I agree. I do like Benji's suggestion. If there's a way to make it electronic, I think that I brought that whole binder to the first couple meetings I went to. It's nice now to be here at home, so I don't have to carry it around. So if we could do that in electronic format, and if so, I think it would be great to send it to every board member, just so we all have an electronic version of it. But I do agree that it's very good, very valuable information.
Binders are so 1990.
Exactly. Exactly. You know,
You can
though, the
use
other,
your Adobe program that you've got, to separate it into different kinds of chapters and such. There's a lot of things you can do there with it, and it's like a binder, but electronic.
oh, that's great. I knew that. Not really. So the other thing that I will say though is, and I'm hopeful that Dr. Carpenter could maybe do a little bit of this, or maybe part of what the rest of us could do to help on board, is to kind of go through it with people, go through it with our new members, or do more than just give it to them. I mean, I think we obviously we don't need to sit down and read it to them, but I do think that making sure that we highlight the most important salient parts would probably be helpful to them at the very as a very minimal beginning point. But I'm excited that Dr. Carpenter is willing to do an onboarding. I think it will be very, very helpful. I do know, and forgive me, I don't think he's said this to the full board, but if he has, I'll just repeat it, that I think he's planning on it at the very least, sort of doing a version of that, of the workshop that we all did last summer with his with that workbook that he has for boards. So I think that will be very beneficial to our new members as much as it was to all of us when he went over it with us. So I've never been disappointed that we were so efficient in a meeting before. I feel like
I should have come up with something else for board development committee.
yeah, exactly. We could play
No,
some
no, you're good,
music.
Michelle. You're good.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you had the bulk of the work, so perhaps the rest of us should have come up with some other things. But
Yeah.
I appreciate everyone staying on for a few minutes. I do think that this micro training will be really helpful. But
Yeah.
all right.
And Dr. Edwards, I'm super excited that we're going to take some money and spruce up the place, and maybe it's just a stopgap, until we get to build, but it's needed. So I'm glad.
I like that too, because for the first time we'll have everybody out at one time on August 9th, and being able to go to just kind of to a spruced up campus and see things, and it's going to be new to a lot of people.
Yes.
And so it's
we're excited. It's a lengthy list. It's a lot of things, but I don't think I've ever seen Mr. Bunner so excited to do all the things as he has been the past couple of weeks. I think everybody's excited about it. Just when you like where you are and it looks spruced up, it kind of makes you feel a little bit more confident about it. And everybody likes things that look nice. And that skirting around the modulars, top of my list. But we're going to do some things with the playground. We're going to fix the mulch. I mean, there's a lot of great things. Some new picnic tables. So we're really excited.
good. I'm glad you're getting the skirting, because I've noticed that too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it's perfect timing, and the points that Nicole and Paul both made are great, and then we'll get Cap Dev on board, and we'll get some resources.
Yeah.
Yes.
Start getting some funds raised, and before you know it, we'll be able to do more and more. So very excited.
That's right. Yeah.
Dr. Edwards, how is the brick project coming?
Well, a little slow, but we're still cheering it on. If anybody would like to buy a brick for New Charter School and make your mark, please do so. It'll be amazing.
We bought ours. I was really excited about that. I think that's a great idea, and hopefully they can be incorporated into whatever CapDev does.
And it's just like anything. If you start a new initiative or you start something new, it just takes a couple of people to do it, and then they tell people, and then everybody's doing it. Before you know, we got bricks everywhere. So
Are they doing the bricks? Are they doing them as they come or ordered, or as they're purchased, or are they doing them at one point?
we're going to have incremental stops.
Okay.
But it's going to be an ongoing thing for us, because I think it's going to be really, really awesome whenever we can really get it going and people are buying them. I'm just thinking like the class of 2021, those students, we had 3 teams go to state playoffs in athletics. We had students who made school records. That would be super cool to have on a brick out in front of the gym. So just it'll catch on. I have great hope.
Well, and that's also one of those things that once there are some bricks out there and the kids start seeing that, I think, and you'll have something then to show, right?
Yeah.
It's a little bit hard to visualize, I think, what that's going to look like for some people if you haven't ever seen something like that at other schools. But it's very, very, it's really cool when you get so many bricks that it takes a few minutes to find your brick.
Right. Yes.
And both of my older kids have bricks at the School of Science and Math, and it's very difficult to find their brick because so many people participate. So hopefully that's what will happen here too.
Goals.
Dr. Carpenter. Yeah, goals for sure. Dr. Carpenter. Yay, welcome. Oh, you're muted.
I feel like I should probably serve a detention for being so tardy here since this is a school setting. All right, let me share screen. Thank you guys for waiting. Let me share screen so I can get the handout up here. And did I send you, Jane, I forgot, did I send you a link to the drive where I put the handout so that you guys can get a copy if you want it?
I don't remember that, but I can check.
Okay, I will do that.
Thank you.
Let's see here. Let me get the right screen open. Yeah. I had one of those crazy days. I'm on site doing an assessment of a school in Michigan, but I double scheduled myself because it was unavoidable, doing a 5-hour risk management presentation for the Utah charter school authorizer. And then your micro training as well. But I am prepared. Okay, it says I'm presenting, but I don't see the. Do you?
I see it.
You do?
See it. Mm-hmm.
We can see it.
Okay, it's weird. All I see is a little screen that says you are presenting. All right, so I'm just going to toggle over to the handout so I can see it. So just a one-pager, just a little micro training. Jane and I talked, and we thought this would be a good topic since you all are in the process of adding new board members. And then also Michelle probably reported out, but she is on my calendar to have a conversation about onboarding your new folks. So really just think of it as these headings. The first, and I think the most important thing, is to explain to folks that when they join your board, they're making an ethical commitment to the board. And I feel like this is first and foremost because it's about building an organization where moral courage is the norm and where people are honest, and this is just how we do things. And then there are some, concrete steps. You can have them sign the code of conduct. You can have them do a disclosure, or should have them do a disclosure statement, and of course, criminal background check. Those are the concrete elements of that, but don't just, put those things in front of them and all that. Actually explain why these three things are important. And the answer is, when you join our board, you're making an ethical commitment to us first and foremost to be a person of integrity and good conduct and good character. Second, and by the way, if anybody kind of protests that or kind of balks at that, you might want to rethink whether you want them on the board. Secondly, provide copies of these documents, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then provide an overview of them. So that explain to them that the charter is a time-bounded performance contract that expires on whatever date your charter expires on, and schedule a subsequent meeting to discuss any questions that they have after they've read it, which conveys to them, we expect you to read this thing because as a board member, you are partly responsible for helping us ensure that it is fulfilled, and you can't do that until you've read it. Give them a copy of the bylaws, explain that it's the board's constitution, and that as such, the board has a duty to obey them, and explain with that every board member's duty of care and duty of loyalty, which are your two basic fiduciary duties as board members. Give them a copy of the school's certificate of insurance and highlight for them the D&O coverage. This is important for two reasons. One, it just helps people, it helps put people's mind at ease, like, okay, you know, if we get sued, you know, there's coverage and all that. But also, you know, you may, from time to time, you know, be adding high net worth individuals to your board. And I do know high net worth board members, and I'm often, you know, sort of talking with them one-on-one at their request to get them to think. They have to think about their liabilities differently than us non-high net worth folks, because they've got a greater risk exposure by virtue of their, potentially greater risk exposure by virtue of their net worth. So highlight that coverage. To a high net worth person, they're going to be automatically be thinking about the residual risk between their net worth and the coverage. To an ordinary person, it's just a good peace of mind thing, like, okay, if we get sued, you know. It also helps, by the way, it helps dispel that myth that board members can't be sued. And here lately, when I've been doing training on this, I'm saying, if that's the case, you really should send an email to some attorneys that have paid me to consult with them and helping them defend charter school board members, because I might have to refund their money because the attorney didn't know that they couldn't be sued. And then a contact list with email, phone numbers, and fellow board members, the school leader, the school's general counsel, your external auditor, your insurance rep, and consultants, which in this case, you have me right now, and the list of board committees, and determine which committee, if any, they would like to join. Optionally, so I think I view those preceding 5 things as sort of like, just you should do those, but other things to think about. And I guess I kind of put these under the category, if I were joining a charter school board, I would appreciate this information. Access to your board development subscription, which I'll mention in a moment, current income statement and balance sheet, a link somewhere to your board policies, a copy of your systematic oversight calendar, and your most recent audit report and management letter. All those are pretty self-explanatory since you've been through my training. What is your board development subscription? This is actually, I wanted to mention this. This is a new thing that I literally launched maybe 4 weeks ago. And whereas I used to sell a few little videos and things, I've now paired that up with live trainings that include 6 90-minute trainings and a 4-hour board orientation for new members in September. And basically everyone on your board and your superintendent can watch the videos and all that. And with my current, so I'm doing it on a subscription model, but with my current clients, I'm grandfathering you in for the year. So, but to get the notifications of the trainings, the emails and stuff, you do have to register on my website. So some of you have done that to access the stuff I had up there previously, which is still there. But to get notified of that, you'll have to register. I drew an arrow to the thing. But again, for a new board member, you can say, hey, Dr. Carpenter is our consultant, and also we get some digital resources for him. So go register on his website, and then they'll get the notifications for the micro trainings and stuff like that. The end. That's a micro training right there.
Wow, and it is exactly 7 o'clock. That was amazing that you made it through that quickly. Thank you so much for that. Very, very helpful. we were talking while we were waiting for you to join that we do have a, and I think Michelle will share this with you, but we do have sort of this binder of information that Amanda Heifel, one of our administrators in the office, put together for us all. And we were talking about Michelle. I think Michelle's going to try to share that with you so you can take a look at it and see if what you think about that, in addition, and how much of all of this is included, and
Sure.
and if there's superfluous information or anything like that, that'd be great. Does anybody have any questions, thoughts, concerns, comments? Well, I think that was very succinct and very helpful. Two things that go very well together. So thank you for that. I appreciate it. I know we all do.
Thanks for waiting for me to get done with my other comment.
No worries, no worries. It was great. I'm glad that we waited. I think that was really good. It'll help us as we prepare. Okay, sorry. Going back to the agenda, we do not have session tonight. So what that means is that I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Oh, thank you. Nicole, were you going to say something? Nope. We're all good. Thank you, Benji. Thank you, Paul. Anybody want to discuss whether we're going to adjourn or not? Hearing none, I will go ahead and call the roll. Nicole.
Aye.
Michelle.
Aye.
Benji.
Aye.
Paul.
Aye.
Wonderful. Hearing after that vote, this meeting of the News Charter School Board of Directors for May 25th, 2021 is hereby adjourned at 7:03 p.m. Thank you all so much.